Okay, this is piece 186, the Great Mosque. It's Masjid Jameh. Jameh is the name of it, title of it, but it is also referred to as a Great Friday Mosque in Isfahan or the Great Mosque in Isfahan. It is in Isfahan, Iran. It is, in terms of culture, Islamic, um, and the Persian variant of Islam under the dynasties of the Seljuk, the Ilkhanid, Timurid, and Safavid dynasties. It was made in 700 CE, but it's added to multiple times over the centuries, made of stone, brick, wood, plaster, and glazed ceramic tile. There are 4 images associated with this piece, so it's a pretty big one. It kind of sets the tone for future mosques. So in terms of context, it started with the Seljuk Turks who made Isfahan their capital. Here's Isfahan in Iran today. And you can see the mosque is just absolutely stunning. So the Seljuk Turks are the first group. Here's the map showing the Seljuk Turks. And this is the map showing the Ilkhanate, which is one of the 4 Mongol khanates. And 75 years is that reign, 100 and 200 years or so is this reign, 150. And then the Timurid Empire controlled Isfahan for 130 years, and then the Safavid Empire controlled it for 240 years or so. So it's been controlled by 4 different empires, all of them pretty much Muslim, except the Mongol Khanate. They became Muslim, but they didn't start off Muslim. Okay, the function of this is it is a Friday mosque or a noon prayer mosque, and it serves as a model of the 4 Iwan plan. Its function also is that it is a center for the community, and it is connected to a bazaar, which reminds me of a really cool kind of mall. And um, you can see that here, like here's a street with lots of shops, and there's the mosque right there at one of the domes. It has multiple domes. And this is a hallway, kind of a passageway in the mosque. So the community people can have their shops, the wall of their shops connect to the wall of this great mosque. And people walk through the great mosque on their way to somewhere else in town. So it's a very center of the community piece of architecture. In terms of content, the interior of this mosque is huge, and it's got many different spaces that can contain all of the men of Isfahan for the Friday noon prayer, which is the time of the week when males of the Muslim world are kind of requested to go to the mosque to pray. And so you have to have a big enough mosque to hold everybody in the community. And that's what this great mosque does. Also, in terms of content, it's got a Qibla wall. That's a vocabulary word, Qibla wall. And in the wall, so this is the Qibla wall, and in the wall, there's this mihrab. And a mihrab is an indentation built into the wall that really exemplifies here's the direction to Mecca and the Kaaba. Another vocabulary word is a minbar. Here's a minbar. This is where the imam, which is a prayer leader, he stands there to lead the Friday prayer. The content here further is that just its size. It's 2 city blocks big. It's 6 times the size of Chartres Cathedral, and not as big, though, as the Forbidden City in China. But it is a huge center. And then if you look at here, this is a bird's eye view here of the 4 Iwans. These are Iwans. They are entrances. They are barrel vaulted entrances to halls, and one of them on each side of the courtyard. The courtyard is central in form to the 4 Iwan plan of a mosque. And here you can see the Iwans up closely. And this is another vocabulary word I want to point out. This is a 2-story arcade. I mean, we think of an arcade, as where you go and play games, but an arcade is a kind of a passageway. And so it's made here of arches that people can walk through. In terms of form, we also want to point out this close-up. This is one of our image, and this is an image of one of the Iwans. And this has an incredible feature called a macorna. Each one of these little indentations, it's kind of convex and concave at the same time. It's like honeycomb, is called a macorna. And here is the visual looking up into the Iwan, into the macornas, so that you can see it's really like a honeycomb. That's a very unique feature of this mosque that we're going to see in a few other mosques. And then another form piece to know is that this mosque is covered in mosaics that are made out of ceramic tile. And here I'm standing next to a oh my goodness. Oh, for goodness sake, I know this. The mihrab. Thank you. The mihrab. And you can see it's got an incredible ceramic tile in it. And it's got a floral pattern, geometric pattern. It uses calligraphy. That's going to be all around the Great Mosque. And no human representation, so there's no idol worship. And in terms of more content, here's a close-up of the minarets. Here you can see calligraphy around the top, geometric pattern of ceramic tile, and these 2 minarets on the one Iwan point to the Qibla wall with the mihrab in the center. So, and these are the 2 minarets that I'm talking about. Notice there are no other minarets on any of the Iwans. So those 2 minarets say, hey, this is the way to point to Mecca. The Qibla wall is inside here, and the mihrab in that main Qibla wall is inside here. What I also want you to see from this little form, this physical representation of the Great Mosque, is look how many domes there are on this Great Mosque. And then you can see how it's covered. All these looks like bubble wrap here. Though this ceiling is covering hypostyle halls and prayer halls throughout this Great Mosque. Let me show you some of them here. So here's one of the domes. 170 feet tall, highest point in Isfahan. Here's some more domes with an oculus, but different patterns at the top of the domes. And then notice here that the brick, these are made of brick. So pretty amazing. Here's the hypostyle hall inside, and all of this is meant to have huge prayer spaces for the Friday noon prayer. Here's yet another massive space created with this vaulted ceiling, almost like Chartres Cathedral. But notice these are bricks making this up. Amazing center little domes here out of brick. And this is another stucco mihrab with calligraphy. And here's the mihrab. This is the Qibla wall. There's at least 2 Qibla walls inside this mosque. So here it is, the Great Mosque of Isfahan, Masjid Jameh, and it has an arcade, Iwans, minarets that point to where to pray, a massive courtyard for the whole community, makwarnas, a Qibla wall with a mihrab, and it's in Isfahan, Iran.